Good afternoon, this is your pal Nova, and first off I want to invite all of you to become part of the official Epic Army by joining our Discord server. Link is right here on the screen and also in the description below. However, before you run away and do that, I want to discuss a little slightly known game for you called Final Fantasy XIV and the 5 reasons that I fell out of love with it. Alright, so a little backstory for you all so you understand where I'm coming from. I started playing this game with my brother in the 2.0 betas. We then pre-ordered the game so we could get a head start, dove hard into it with a guild, and we actually started to hit the raid scene just a bit before there was, you know, good old guild drama. So we got into biting Quills of Bahamut. We did turn 1, turn 2, and yeah, turn 3, that was a rough one. If anybody's familiar with that one, it's pretty rough. From there, we split. We had the little guild drama that I mentioned. Created our own guild. Kind of went not so hardcore after that. However, I did continue to play this game for a couple of years for sure. And then kind of took a break and came back with each expansion as they dropped, all the way up to Stormblood. I would play the expansion, hit max level, start to grind, challenge some of the extreme primals, do a little bit of endgame stuff, and fall into the same trap, which we will discuss soon. So that is where our story begins. Do note, however, that I have no personal experience playing the current state of Final Fantasy XIV, and of course this is all just my personal opinion on this. Alright, so the first thing that really bugs me about this game and why I cannot see myself getting back into it is the content cycle. Yeah, I'm talking about the insert new patch, and guess what? You're gonna get a new dungeon, a new trial, some main story quests, and upped gear level. Insert next patch, you get the same thing. Insert next patch, you get the same thing. Blah blah blah. You get the point. I just can't deal with this. I want something new. I just get tired of doing the same content, and the problem is that you get these new things and you run them once because they're super easy and you've beat it now. Yes, the extreme primals are not that easy. They take some gearing up and stuff. I get that. There is also raids that drop that require more practice. It's all, I get it. I know there's some challenging content, it's good. But for the general person playing and the general content that drops every patch, it's the same old shit. And that will bring me into point 2, which we'll call the gear grind and best in slot. Now the more I think about this, the more I feel like it really is less about the gear grind and just more about the way the game approaches gearing in general. I say that because I played a lot of Destiny 2 and enjoyed Destiny 2, which really is just a gear grind at the base of it. However, I think because the gear is all varied and I can actually pick which gear I want and level that gear up with me. I can keep it if I want. I can like min-max a little bit with the stats on the gear. There's more options for me. It's not just one set of gear. However, in Final Fantasy we get just one set of gear to rule them all. If you want best in slot, and I know there's options, you can get different sets of gear. You don't have to have best in slot, but I just can't do it. I want a min-max. I want the best in slot. I go for the best in slot. I've never actually achieved a full set of best in slot in this game. And maybe that's because I can't go hardcore like 8 hours a day or whatever. I do have to work and I gotta do this YouTube channel. But, you know, I hate it. I don't like that there's one single best in slot. What I'm really looking for in an MMO is some RPG elements. I want gear that I can pick stats on, gear that has different stats. The ability to wear different stat gear, which brings me in to the next point. Class build diversity. I know some of the gearing issue is kind of hindered by this, I think, because every class has one build. There's no diversity here. If you're a bard, you're a bard. You got the same skills, you need the same gear, you're looking for the same stats as the next guy. That's the way it is. Yeah, you can put different buttons, you can have different rotations, and we'll get into the skill rotations later, but if you're a bard, you're a bard. If you're a warrior, you're a warrior. If you're a paladin, you're a paladin. It's just, you are that. There is no build diversity. What happened to the old days of MMOs when we had class builds? Every class could be a little different, even if it's just stat-wise, skill-wise. In vanilla WoW, you could not obtain, or you could not place all the points in all the skills. You had to choose what you wanted. You had to make a build. Now don't get me wrong, I fully expect that the raiders, the hardcore guys, will make a meta. They will find the best exact skill build. They will find the best exact gear. There's always going to be that sort of system for the hardcore guys. Yes, I told you I want to be best in slot, but if I can see a build that's very viable, that does everything I needed to do, I'm okay with that. This brings me back to my vanilla WoW days when I played a shaman and I could easily heal or DPS. I could swap between the two, I could do either one, I could build it the way I wanted, and they both worked. So I just think that this sort of system where you have diverse builds blends into allowing this gearing system to be better. And I think that's maybe where they're lacking, but I can't get over the fact that every class is exactly the same as the next guy. Alright, this next one I know is going to be loved. Combat. The combat in this game with that god-awful global cooldown just kills me. I can't do it. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand. They've made a lot of changes. They've added lots of skills to weave in between the global cooldown skills to keep it interesting and active. They've added a little focus bar thing that you can do different stuff with that makes it a little more interesting. I just can't do it. I've tried over and over. There's twofold here, I think. First off, the rotations. I can't get past it. This game is a rotation game. It kills me. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4. If you're a bard though, you can go 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 2 3 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 2 3. Anyway, I'm sorry. I went off on a tangent. So what I do like about the rotations, and while I'll give it a little bit of props, is that you can really crunch the numbers, try to find the best rotation, and that I love to do. However, once you get the rotation, now you spend hours upon hours running the same dungeon over and over again, pushing the same buttons over and over again. What a fun game. Combat just doesn't do it for me here. The last thing I want to say on the combat before we move on though is that playing a game like Black Desert really shows you how far behind this combat is. And tab targeting in general, I have to say that I am swearing off tab targeting. Not a big fan. Not doing it for me. Moving on. So my last point, I think this one will be a little bit more controversial. I hope you made it this far. I hope you stick around for the last and final point on why I fell out of love with Final Fantasy XIV, the community. I know some of you may think that the community in this game is really not that bad. Generally, people are friendly. Generally, you can talk a little bit if you want. But I think you're missing the point here. The point is, there is no community feeling to this game. What am I talking about when I say community? The best example I can give you is Vanilla WoW, Classic WoW, which you can try out this summer when it drops, and you're going to see a different feel to the game. So things like you have to traverse the world, you're walking through the world, so you're running into other people. When that happens, you tend to say hi, you tend to group up. The other thing that they had going for it is that questing was not that easy. It was hard to solo quest. It was possible, but it was hard. So grouping up made it easier, made it quicker. People group up. And when people grouped up, they would say hi. You could run a quest or 2, quest or 3, quest or 4. You could spend hours together and you get stuff done. And then you would go your separate ways. The other piece of community that I remember from playing Vanilla WoW was I knew people's names on the server that did great things. Like if they were the rank 14 in the PvP thing, like you knew those people. You knew the people that were going for it. They did something special. There was a feeling that you knew people. Like it was just a different feeling. Final Fantasy XIV doesn't have this. All we do in Final Fantasy XIV is run story missions by ourselves, and those things are boring as hell, and honestly could have made one of the points here, but it's like a number 6. You do that, and then you hit max level, and now you just gear grind the same dungeons over and over, which requires you to sit in your house, open the duty log, queue up for said dungeons, run them, don't say a word while running the dungeons because they're also really easy. Exit the dungeon, repeat, boom, next one, boom. That's all you do. You never have to talk to anybody. You can watch Netflix while doing it, basically. It's pretty bad. Now, there is other things that take some mechanics. You might have to talk about the mechanics a little bit. Yeah, but it's just, there's no community. You're queuing up from your house. You don't have to see anybody. You don't have to talk to anybody. You don't have to interact with anybody. Sorry for rambling on here, but I really want community back in my MMOs. Super, super, super bad. I'm hoping that there's some games coming out soon that will fix that. So there you have it, folks. These are the 5 reasons that I personally fell out of love with Final Fantasy XIV and am not looking to go back. Even with the new expansion coming, I have zero interest for these reasons listed above. Hopefully they can make some changes down the road which will fix some of these issues which would possibly bring me back. So, let me know from you guys what you think. Are you still playing Final Fantasy XIV? Are you still in love? Have you also fallen out of love with Final Fantasy XIV? Do you think my comments, my thoughts are wrong? Do you think they're right? Throw all that stuff, anything you can add in the comments below. Also, come on, jump into Discord. We can chat about it there. Really want to interact with you guys on this one. And lastly, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you can stay up to date with videos from Less Than Epic as we cover a bunch of different things, but we're covering Classic WoW and Final Fantasy VII Remake pretty hard right now. Thank you again for watching, and as usual, get good scrubs.
Hey, it's Radit here. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe as well. It really helps out the channel. We put out multiple new videos each week and we appreciate all of your support. Thanks for watching, everyone, and cheers.